Hi everyone, Kendall here, and what I have for you this week is week 4 of our What's in Your Closet Sew Along, hosted by Pat Sloan at her website, ilovetomakequilts.com. If you haven't done so already, jump over to Pat's website, download this week's free pattern, come back here, and I'll show you how I do it. What I have on the table in front of me here are all of the pieces required to make this block as per the pattern. You should have some large, light, medium and dark squares and just some smaller light and medium squares. We're going to take all of the larger squares. We should have 5 in our light, 3 in our medium and 2 in our dark, and we're going to make some half square triangles. How do we make those half square triangles, I hear you ask? No, you're probably not actually asking because I think you know. But in case you don't, we're going to draw a diagonal line on the back of all of our light squares and then match those right sides together with our medium and dark squares. Take that to the machine and stitch 1/4 of an inch on each side of our drawn line. With that stitching now done, we'll just clip all of these apart. Then I like to give them a quick press just to set those seams before we cut them in half on the drawn line, and then press all of these towards the darker of the 2 fabrics. We now need to trim all of our half square triangles down, and you'll see that I still have my painter's tape on my 6.5 inch rule here. And so I'm just going to do these one at a time. What we need to do is butt that painter's tape up on our pressed over edge. Make sure that we have enough fabric outside our trim down requirement, which in this case is 3.5 inches, and we trim away those first 2 sides. Because I'm using my rotating mat, I can simply spin that around. Then I can line up that 3.5 inches on those freshly cut sides and trim the final 2 sides. Do this for all 10 of your half square triangles. With our half square triangles now made, we just need to make the first of 2 units that will make up this block. So as you can see from the little inset, the top left and the bottom right. So we'll just lay this out as per the pattern, and you use the half square triangles to make a big triangle with those smaller medium squares that we set aside earlier. And then the third and final set of 2 half square triangles go in that top corner, and they point towards that larger triangle we've just laid out. We'll just need to put these together now in 4-patch construction, starting with doing the vertical seams and then the horizontal seams. I'm just going to stack them both on top of each other, put them all through the machine in a chain piecing fashion, and I'll get back to you when we're pressing. With the unit that has the 2 half square triangles sewn together, we're just going to give that a clip in the middle, so down to but not through the stitching, before we take this to the pressing mat and give that a press. When we are pressing these ones, we're just going to push those seam allowances in the opposing directions, the way that they want to sit the flattest. And then we can press that into position. We'll do that for both of those units, and for the other one, we'll press out towards the solid square. With our pressing done, we just need to lay those back out again so that they look like they should from the pattern, and then we'll sew that final seam on each of these, and you'll note that because of the way that we pressed, our little seam in the middle here will nest. With those horizontal seams now sewn, I am going to spin the intersection in the middle of this 4 patch, and that's just because we have in some instances up to 6 layers of fabric coming together. To do this, we just pick out the few stitches that are above the stitching line that we just made, then we give the block a little bit of a twist, and we can manipulate those seam allowances so that they all go, in this instance, in a clockwise direction. We'll then press that into place. We'll repeat for the other piece, and then I will meet you back when we're ready to do the other 2 segments that we need. As I said before, we're now going to make the final 2 sections that we need for this block. So for that, we need to take over our smaller light squares and our 4 dark half square triangles that we created earlier. We are making 2 blocks, so you'll see me stacking them 2 by 2. This is just a little bow tie block, and if you lay it out as per the pattern, it's nice, simple and easy. We're just going to put this together like a 4 patch, and as I did last time, I'm just going to chain piece all of these through, and then we'll get to pressing them both towards that light square, and then sewing our horizontal seam, and then just picking a direction and pressing it. Because we don't have all of the different bulky seams coming together with this one, we can just press in one direction after we've done that horizontal seam. All of the required units for this block are now made, and we just need to lay the block out, as you can see in the top left hand corner there. And this goes together as a 4 patch. So to make the 4 patch, we just need to sew both of those vertical seams, and then our horizontal seam. I do press towards the red corners when we do these vertical seams, and that will make our middle seam nest when we go to do our horizontal seam. And in fact, you will find that if you followed all of my pressing tips and tricks, that every single intersection will nest when we go to do our horizontal seam. But let's find out. So you will notice that my bow tie corners are not placed correctly as per the pattern, but I actually did leave them as you see them here. And I do indeed have all of these intersections nesting, so we're just going to pin these together, take it to the machine, sew our 1/4 inch, and our block for this week is done. interested. That's it for this week. I'll see you all again real soon. Bye for now.